It started with a bombshell nobody saw coming. Candace Owens didn't just throw shade at Meghan Markle, she came swinging straight for the foundation Meghan has spent years building. Not the glitzy skincare brand, not the humanitarian speeches, but the image Meghan has always sold to the world. The picture-perfect hands-on mother, gracefully navigating fame, pressure, and endless criticism. But Candace, oh no, she didn't buy it. On a live broadcast that left even her own fans wide-eyed, Candace dropped a claim so outrageous, so unexpected, it set social media ablaze within minutes. Forget Meghan's usual royal rants, forget the Netflix flops everyone laughs at. This was deeper. Candace reached into a part of Meghan's past Meghan has fought tooth and nail to bury. And the claim? That Meghan Markle may have had a daughter as a teenager. Yes, a hidden child, allegedly born when Meghan was about 17. A child who, if true, would now be in her 30s. Not a tragic custody case, not a heartbreaking loss. No, worse. A deliberate erasure. And that's when everything flipped. Because if Candace was right, even partly right, it wasn't just a messy rumor. It was devastating. This was the kind of revelation that could burn Meghan's entire brand to ashes. The contradiction that shook her image. Think about it. Meghan has built her entire post-royal life around motherhood and compassion. She's the woman who cradled her baby bump like it was a crown jewel. She's the mother who dragged tabloids to court, claiming they endangered her children. She's the woman who cried about breaking generational trauma for her son and daughter. So how does that same woman, this so-called champion of motherhood, just walk away from a firstborn child? If true, this wasn't just hypocrisy, this was brand suicide. And the timing? Oh, the timing couldn't have been worse. Meghan was already dangling on the edge. Spotify had kicked her out. Netflix was tanking. Archetypes had become a meme. The world was already rolling its eyes, and now, the one card she had left, the motherhood card, was under fire. Candace brought receipts. Sort of Candace didn't just stop at whispering. She brought receipts, or at least timelines that made eyebrows shoot up. According to her, Meghan graduated high school in 1994. That would put her at 17. Fine. Except Meghan publicly claims she was born in 1981. Do the math. If she was born in 1981, she would have been 13 in 1994. 13. The numbers screamed something was off. So what was it? Did Meghan lie about her birth year? Or did she not graduate when she claimed? Either way, it wasn't a minor slip. For a woman whose entire image is crafted to perfection, this kind of timeline error is explosive. But wait, it gets juicier. Candace hinted at whispers of a rushed Vegas chapel wedding back in 1994, right after high school. No frills, no glamour, just a quickie ceremony. And we all know what sometimes comes after those kinds of impulsive weddings. Panic, missed periods, a hush-hush decision. Nothing confirmed, of course, but it fit. And that's exactly why it was dangerous. Because with Meghan, perception is everything. The damage wasn't in proof, it was in doubt. Social media eruption, #hidden daughter. The second Candace's words hit the airwaves, the internet exploded. Hashtags lit up, #hidden daughter. Reddit threads piled up. TikTok detectives went feral. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. People started combing through Meghan's old interviews, listening carefully for slip-ups, inconsistencies. Had she ever actually mentioned 1994? Why was her high school timeline so fuzzy? Why was it so hard to verify her actual birth year when every other detail of her life was curated like a Netflix script? And then came the photo hunt. Side-by-sides of Meghan and random women in their late 20s or early 30s filled Twitter feeds. Is this Meghan's daughter? Became the obsession of the week. Of course, nobody could prove anything, but in today's viral world, proof isn't necessary. Doubt is enough. Meghan's deafening silence. Now here's where things got even weirder. Normally, Meghan would have been out in front, firing back with a polished statement from Archewell, or better yet, a dramatic sit-down with Oprah. Tears glistening, voice breaking, telling her truth. But this time, crickets. Not a word. And for someone as obsessed with controlling her narrative as Meghan Markle, that silence was deafening, louder than any denial. Behind the scenes, though, insiders whispered she was livid, furious, papers were flying, lawyers drafting cease and desist letters aimed at bloggers, YouTubers, maybe even Candace herself. But still, nothing public. And that lack of a fight only fueled the fire. Because if Meghan really had nothing to hide, why stay silent? In the middle of this wildfire, an old clip of Candace Owens resurfaced. Calm, cold, almost surgical. She looked straight into the camera and asked, "What kind of woman walks away from her child, then sells herself to the world as a perfect mother?" Boom! One line. That's all it took. It hit like a thunderbolt. This wasn't gossip anymore. It was a demand for accountability. People stopped laughing and started asking questions that cut deep. If Meghan really did have this alleged daughter, had she ever tried to reconnect? Did the girl know who her mother was? Had she spent decades watching Meghan rise into global superstardom while staying hidden, unacknowledged, erased? Some even latched onto rumors Candace mentioned. Chicago. Whispers of the daughter living there. Real or not, it didn't matter. The internet didn't need proof. The idea alone was explosive. Harry pulled into the fire. And then came the second blow. Harry. This wasn't just Meghan's scandal anymore. It dragged Harry right into the storm. The world started asking, did he know? Did Meghan confess to him before their marriage? Or worse, was he blindsided like everyone else? Because let's face it, Harry has built his entire rebranded life around being Diana's son. The truth teller, the protector, the man who would never betray a child. So imagine the contradiction. The same man who accused his own family of cruelty, now standing silently beside his wife, accused of erasing her own child. The irony was brutal, and people noticed. Some said Harry looked hollow in recent appearances. Others swore he was already checked out emotionally, just going through the motions. The palace? Predictably silent. But behind those gilded Windsor gates? Oh, you could practically hear the smug whispers. The same royals Harry and Meghan had scolded for years were now watching Meghan's empire collapse under the weight of her own contradictions. The internet turns ruthless. Once the hidden daughter rumor gained traction, everything Meghan had ever said was dragged back under the microscope. Remember when Meghan claimed she never Googled Harry before their first date? Turns out, old blog posts suggested otherwise. Remember when she told Oprah she didn't know how to curtsy? People dug up the fact that her school taught theater etiquette. Remember when she said she wasn't close to her father's side of the family? Dozens of childhood photos proved otherwise. Alone, these lies, or embellishments, didn't matter much. But now, in the shadow of this alleged secret child, they painted a picture of someone addicted to revision, someone willing to rewrite reality itself. And suddenly, Meghan's brand of authenticity looked fake, very fake. Hollywood pulls back. Here's where the gossip turns into real consequences. Hollywood started backing away. Executives who once saw Meghan as a marketable, profitable name stopped answering calls. Her with Love Meghan lifestyle brand, dead on arrival. Netflix deals drying up fast. Spotify already gone. Even publicists, those same Hollywood fixers who'll protect almost anyone if there's money in it, stopped pitching her name. Meghan Markle went from marketable to radioactive almost overnight. And let's be real, Hollywood doesn't care about morals. They care about optics. And nothing kills a brand faster than whispers of a mother abandoning her child. Behind the gates of Montecito, inside Montecito, chaos. It's a lose-lose. Prove Candace wrong and risk blowing up her own timeline, or hide and look guilty forever. That's the trap. Public opinion shifts. And the public? They've already made up their mind. Trust, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild. People who defended Meghan through racism scandals, family feuds, and relentless tabloid wars were suddenly hesitating. For the first time, real fans, the diehards, were asking, what if Candace is right? Forgiveness is tricky, especially when children are involved. A woman who built her entire brand on motherhood being accused of erasing a child? That's the kind of stain no PR firm can wash away. And everyone knew the only thing worse than the rumor would be if this alleged daughter ever stepped forward herself. If that day ever comes, Meghan's story isn't just tarnished. It's over. Finished. The silence becomes its own story. Weeks passed. No Instagram posts, no pap strolls, not even a vague Archewell statement about navigating difficult times. And that's when people started whispering something even darker. Maybe Meghan was scrubbing, buying time, erasing traces before the truth surfaced. Because when someone so obsessed with narrative suddenly goes quiet, silence stops being a shield. It becomes the story itself. Meghan Markle, from untouchable to unraveling. Think about where Meghan started. The woman who was hailed as the new Diana, the voice of modern compassion, the icon of breaking barriers, and look at her now, branded a liar, branded a manipulator, branded possibly a woman who erased her own child. The cracks in her image aren't cracks anymore, they're chasms. And Harry? He's standing right beside her, his reputation sinking with hers. The world that once sympathized with Meghan is now watching her spiral, not with compassion but with suspicion. And the harsh truth? Once people start doubting your motherhood, your compassion, your authenticity, you don't get that back. Conclusion: the rumor that changed everything, Candace Owens didn't just throw a stone. She launched a wrecking ball into Meghan Markle's carefully curated palace of glass. One question: what kind of woman walks away from her child? Was all it took to flip the narrative. And now Meghan Markle is trapped. Trapped in a silence that screams guilt. Trapped in a scandal she can't erase. Trapped in the very image she built and sold to the world. An image that might just be a lie. Behind Montecito's gates, Meghan may be raging. But out here, the whispers are louder than her silence. And until she speaks, until she faces the rumor head-on, the world will keep asking, did Meghan Markle really hide a daughter? Because when doubt becomes the headline, truth almost doesn't matter anymore.